Hey everyone, welcome to Garden Fork Radio. You're here with Eric. It's another solo show. Rick will be back. We kind of had some cross wires this week of trying to get together to do a show, and I wanted to be kind of regular with the show, so I thought, I'll just do another viewer mail show. I can talk for a few minutes on that. By the way, also, I just spoke with Eric Knutson of the Root Simple podcast. I will be a guest on their show. I'm not sure when he will post that. And then we did a quick little record to have the Root Simple crew on Garden Fork Radio, and that will post next week. rootsimple.com. Interesting people. They're always doing something. We talked about baking bread and some beekeeping, that kind of thing. So, all good stuff. And if you happen to watch Garden Fork on YouTube, I just put out a video called That Dumb Thing I Did. And I tried to diversify Garden Fork into several channels on YouTube, and I decided that doesn't work. And that was the dumb thing I did. So everything I put out about any kind of video on YouTube is going to be on the main, what was the original channel, the main channel, which is youtube.com/gardenfork. There's no DIY Garden Fork anymore. The Garden Fork Labrador videos are going to be on the main channel now too. So there you go. A little housekeeping for that. Totally cool weather here. Brooklyn and New York. The black flies are out in Connecticut. So when you open your mouth, they fly in. And I have it's like a green mosquito headset thing that I bought at the camping store. It just looks like kind of green fabric netting with a little brim on it. Looks like it came from like the army or something. But anyway, works pretty darn well. You look a little goofy, but you don't have black flies running in your mouth, which, yeah, they're a protein source, but you get what I mean there. A couple of cool emails. Love to hear from you guys. radio@gardenfork.tv is the best way to find me. That allows me to search through my email inbox and find the cool letters from you guys. And not all the weird spam that I get, because you get the same kind of weird. It's just oddball stuff spammers send. But anyway, here's one from Jason. A few days ago, I was listening to the one where your labs had scratched its cornea. I'm sorry, let me start that over. Jason was listening to some of the back episodes, the archive, and says, a few days ago, I was listening to the one where one of your labs had scratched its cornea, and you took it to the vet. It just so happened that same week, my dog had done the same thing. I was going to see if it would heal on its own, but after listening to your advice, I took her right in. I'm glad I did. She too had scratched her cornea and had 2 ulcers in her eye. She's now on medication also, and will get back to the vet in a few days for a checkup. So thank you, my friend, for your wisdom and advice. Keep up the good work. I'll be listening and watching. Jason and Bella, his dog. So yeah, the vet is not cheap, but you don't want your pup to lose an eye. It's the kind of thing where I've heard a couple times where people are like, oh, we have some of these eye drops from the last time something happened to your eye, so we'll just put these drops in. And that can be actually one of the worst things you can do for the eye. I think they're called cardiosteroids, perhaps is the right word. But anyway, the eye drops that are for other maladies with your dog's eye are not the thing to use when they have a scratched cornea. And it's not a good thing. And yeah, it will. You're going to have to go to the vet a couple times for them to check on it. But ooh boy, we almost lost an eye on the pup. What you will have to do is you have to either put drops or this it looks like Vaseline coming out of a toothpaste tube stuff. And it can be a little difficult. What I found with Charlie Pup is that you kind of have to put him in kind of a headlock. But then she got a little better about it, and I could pull the bottom of her eyelid down and just squeeze in from this tube the Vaseline-like material. And she didn't like it, but it worked well. And also, if you have some treats in your hand, and it's even better if you have 2 people. But we had to do this twice or 3 times a day. I guess it depends on the severity of the scratch. And yeah, at first you're like, how am I going to get these drops in her eye? How am I going to get this, Vaseline-like stuff in her eye? But you can do it. I did it, so you can do it. And you basically have to do it, or else you'll lose the eye. So, yeah, I know the vet's expensive, but you love your pups, right? So there you go. So thank you for Jason for relating that story. I've gotten a couple of those actually, where people are like, "Wow, I was just going to kind of ride this thing out," and I'm glad that you told me to go to the vet. So Michael writes in, "I just wanted to drop a note and say thank you for the entertaining work that you do. I was having a rough morning, but found a Garden Fork email in my inbox, which led me to your website and then your YouTube channel. Just watched the follow-up video on the pizza oven. It was great. So there are lessons even in the unexpected failures." What happened in that video is one of the burning logs fell onto the pizza. Not a good thing. Now, not only do I want to make pizza oven, but I can handle life's kickbacks as well as you. Keep it up. I love it. It's good on so many levels, Michael. Yeah, thank you. I don't always handle life's kickbacks as well as everybody else. Ask my close friends and relatives about that. But anyway, sometimes you just have to step back and think in the bigger picture what's going on. You have a roof over your head. You hopefully have your health. You can stand on 2 feet. So you just kind of breathe it out and go, all right, and let's move on. So that's just kind of my little life theory there for you. This is one from Jason, and he says, "Love your videos, your pictures, and especially your podcast. I have a question concerning compost. I know balance is important in composting, but I wonder if it matters if you get the ingredients from the same source. My wife is able to bring home lots of scrap pieces of tomato, cucumber, bell pepper from her sandwich shop. Those pieces, dried leaves, grass clippings, make up the bulk of my compost. Does it hurt the compost to use the same ingredient all the time? Love your show and stay awesome. Jason." No, it doesn't. The more the merrier, really. You can put in there stuff from your sandwich shop. You can put in stuff from your garden. What is ideal is a carbon to nitrogen ratio of about 60-40, 60 browns, 40 greens. But use what you got. If you have a lot of grass or a lot of lettuce leaves, you can put those all in there. You're not going to get this supercharged hot cooking compost. It will be a slower compost method, but it will break down. And later on, if you have a bunch of leaves or brown material or even like cardboard and newspaper shredded, does your neighbor run everything through the paper shredder? You could grab the whole bag and put that in your compost. You could cut that with your green materials, and that would really help. So yeah, wherever you get it from works. One thing you want to be careful about is if you're getting grass clippings from your neighbor and your neighbor uses a lot of pesticides on their lawn, you might not want to be bringing those pesticides into your compost pile. Just some thought there. I mean, there's a delicate thing where you have to ask your neighbor, what do you spray in there? Or maybe you could just kind of watch out of the corner of your eye and see which neighbors do what to their yards before you go get their grass clippings that they're throwing out. But just kind of a thought there about that. So there you go. Interesting things happening at the house upstate. I was there the other night alone with the Labradors, and I was just watching some videos on my iPad. And I looked out the window up with the garage. The garage is separate from the house, and the motion sensor light is on. And I notice a shadow, or it looks like something in the dark, moving around the cars. And I'm like, what's someone doing with the cars? Because there is some petty theft in our town, and they usually are trying to find cars that are unlocked in driveways. And the dogs are going berserk, and the window is a third of the way open. So I imagine whatever this is can hear the dogs barking. Oh, and there goes, of course, someone texting me. But anyway. And this, whoever this is still around the cars. And I'm like, well, what's going on here? So I look, and then I went over to the porch, the side porch, and I realized that it's a bear up by the garage. And this is a really big bear. The dogs are going crazy. So I caused a very loud noise to occur, and the bear scattered off. But it just kind of reminded me about what was going on. And I was wondering, well, why is the bear up there? What's he trying to get in the car? And I had taken apart a beehive that day, and I had left the parts in the garage. And there was some honeycomb, the comb and honey. And bees aren't they don't want to eat the honey. They want to eat the larvae that are in a beehive, but they're attracted to the smell of the honey and the beeswax. So I realized that I couldn't really leave that in there, so I cleaned it up. But just to, be careful if you are doing beekeeping in an area with bears. When you do clean up your hives and put the materials in the garage or something, be careful there. So there you go. I've got some sugar snap peas coming up in the garden. I've got 2 beds that I think I need to rebuild the wood sides on, so we're going to have to start doing that. One of my beds, I just think the soil is really poor. I've gotten allegedly garden soil from a number of my neighbors, and one batch I got seemed more like fill material than anything. But thankfully, my good neighbor, Chip, has a beautiful pile of leaf compost mulch that is about 8 feet high, and the bottom of it is this perfect black compost. So I'm going to cut that in to that material there, kind of like lasagna gardening on steroids, and break up that it's kind of clayey soil, and the plants I put in there did not do very well. So I'll be working on that this weekend, battling the black flies with my screened in it's kind of a bug screen cover thing. I don't know, call it what you want. But there you go, just kind of a quick viewer mail. We'll be having more shows next week. And as always, you can find more cool stuff on our site, gardenfork.tv. And if you would like to sign up for our email newsletter, there's a link right at the top of every web page, or you can send an email to news@gardenfork.tv and it'll send you a link. And also, always like to hear from you guys. It's radio@gardenfork.tv. All right, see ya. Garden Fork's theme music is used under license from uniquetracks.com.